You right-click on their name, and it gives, you have to be the host in the first place.
Yeah,
and then you right-click on the name, and you can select people to be co-host.
Okay.
You feel excluded? You want to be co-host too?
No, not especially. Not really. Just.
But as I said, being co-host comes with great responsibility.
Yeah, it's a bit frightening.
Right, let's make a start. Welcome everyone to Neuroccino, live here on Zoom and over on YouTube. Just a brief reminder about how this works. Everyone is welcome to join us and present a paper, a book chapter they read and thought was exciting and want to share with us, and then we discuss it to the best of our knowledge. The only thing we exclude is your own papers, so no self-promotion. The other announcements that I wanted to make is that we now teamed up with the OHBM YouTube channel, and we cross-post. So our channel and their channel now has a long list of interviews, the Neurosalience podcast. Season 1 is completely up there, and we're working on season 2 and 3. So do subscribe to that channel and listen to a range of exciting interviews on there. And then finally, this Friday, we have our first CNS talk for 2022, where we have Aaron Hecht tell us about the evolution of the brain using domesticated dogs and foxes. That's all I had to say to you this morning. Welcome again, and Valentina is going to present a paper to us today. Take it away.
Thank you, Steph. I'm going to share my screen. Here you go. Do you all see my screen clearly? Awesome. Thank you, Steph, for the presentation. Today I'm going to talk about a paper on conspiracy mentality. So this paper got me excited because what I usually do first thing in the morning, I just check the news. And so both Italy and France are really into political debates in these days because of elections. And also there is still the COVID news that are bombing us, largely in a negative way. So, and this combines both my news checking routine and my passion for science. And I really like this paper, which investigates basically the root of the conspiracy mentality, and in particular, if the political orientation has an effect on leaning toward the acceptance of conspiracy theories. So briefly, the theoretical basis of these papers are constructed on a more recent paper who advanced the hypothesis that there is a U-shaped relationship between political endorsement and the leaning of the more susceptibility to accept conspiracy theories in a way that both extreme right and extreme left political supporters are more keen to accept conspiracy theories. And the authors of this paper wanted to explore if this mechanism is worldwide. So it's a mechanism present in all the countries, or like countries representative of the world, and also if this phenomenon appears more strongly when the political party is not on the power. So they merged two studies. A study who collected data of the conspiracy mentality questionnaire from 23 different countries throughout the world, and a second study who added 13 countries matched for age, education, and other variables, specifically from Europe. The data that they collected was, as I said before, the conspiracy mentality questionnaire, and that investigates the how likely people are to accept conspiracy theories, and also the political orientation of the people. And they did so in two ways. One, on a single item scale, where participants have to, that went from extreme left to extreme right. But as these single item is susceptible to how left and right are represented in different countries. For instance, left in United States, left party could be a more center party in Europe. They added a second political orientation investigation via a Likert scale, where people had to choose how they voted, how what's their political preference. So they at first they explored a linear country-centered relation between the conspiracy mentality questionnaire and the political orientation for both of the studies, so worldwide countries and European countries. And this linear relation showed an effect only for the first study, not the second one. And in particular, they saw that right-wing political orientation is more linearly correlated with has a linear effect on the accepting conspiracy theories. And in particular, they pointed to the difference between North Europe countries such as Austria, France, Germany, that exhibit a pattern of right-wing politicians, supporters, and conspiracy mentality, while more southern European countries such as Spain or Hungary display the effect of left-wing politicians' preferences with acceptance of conspiracy theories. And these results are not confirmed by the quadratic relation of country-centered politics preferences and conspiracy mentality, and they further investigated this effect here, which is not clear. It's more heterogeneous than the first one. So they run this other analysis, which is two lines technology to check the shape of the slope of this effect, and they observed that the higher, so the more keen to accept conspiracy theories are the subjects, the more extreme political orientations they have. As you can see, the line here is very high, and then the slope drops till this point, and then there is an increase of the line toward the right political orientation. And they observe this both for the linear relation and also for the quadratic relation. Then another interesting thing of this paper is that they also checked for like the interaction with the more recent voted, if the party of preference is at the government at the moment of the study. And they saw for study 1 and also study 2 that far-right supporters are more keen to accept conspiracy theories, specifically when the party that they're supporting is not on the power. So to summarize, we have a worldwide effect of U-shaped, so extreme left and extreme right political orientation that it's more keen to support conspiracy theories. And also when the party is not on power, so the political power effect, the sense of control is absent. The right-wing oriented people are more keen to accept conspiracy theories. There is another interesting study, analysis of this paper, but I see I'm going out of time, so I accept your questions.
Thank you, Valentina. Any questions at the moment? No one yet? Okay. So basically what they showed is that if you are on the extremes of the political orientation, you're more likely to accept conspiracy theories, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not very surprising, is it?
Yeah.
Or is that just me?
No, it's not very surprising. So the authors discussed this effect as extremes. So both left and right extremes tends to have a worldview more in a dichotomy way. So it's either good or bad, black or white. So out groups are bad, and this is like the common ground. The other analysis that I didn't show you is that particularly when the political party doesn't endorse authoritarianism or this very far strict worldview. So, for instance, for the right wing, when it does not endorse how you say? Oh my gosh!
Libertarian.
Yes, libertarian view of the world. So people from that endorse right-wing parties are not keen to conspiracy theories. So it's only a matter of more. It's a spectrum. It's not like extreme right, extreme left, disregarding the ideas. So there are specific ideas that makes people endorse more, that have an effect on the conspiracy mentality of people.
Which is quite interesting because for everyone here on Zoom, I just shared the link to a paper from 2011 where they tried to find, it's called The Political Orientations Are Correlated with Brain Structures in Young Adults. And I always call it the Colin Firth paper because he's one of the authors. And it's easy to find it because he only has one paper. But in that paper, they basically showed that greater liberalism was associated with increased gray matter in the anterior cingulate cortex, whereas conservatism was associated with increased volume of the right amygdala. And they bring, in the discussion, they bring it back to the fundamental effects behind the association, not necessarily being political convictions per se, but the psychological processes behind it for managing fear and anxiety, which I think nicely links back to the paper that you just presented, and basically the coping mechanisms of how we deal with new information in an uncertain world. That's enough for me. Leah, you have a question.
Yes, thank you. I was wondering if, I missed it at the beginning, if this data, so the conspiracy questionnaire was administered like now during the pandemic, then maybe these behavior are more extreme, or it's a retrospective study, so it's something based, from some years ago where we didn't have the COVID.
That's a really good question, actually. I had the feeling that study 1 was collected before study 2. They added more data from the European countries, but I'm not sure. I gotta check on maybe on the methods.
Because like on my side, I started to think about this conspiracy theory also now that we have the COVID, and so there are many, but maybe in the USA there were also before, so they're more common. So I was just wondering.
I'm checking the cross references. No, I will text you later. I will text you later. But it's really interesting. So would you predict that the pandemics have enlarged the effect, this kind of effect?
In my opinion, yes. Also in the way I'm seeing reality, talking with people, I see that these behaviors that were maybe more underneath or not expressed before, now you really discuss those things, because we have really a problem that is a massive problem. So it's really the scenario of a conspiracy. And
it could also be that it's more heterogenic actually, because now maybe it's not anymore linked to political induced fear per se, but it's more social. So also not extreme or other type of thinking, political orientation have also this kind of conspiracy mentality now.
That can be, but I expect that if the way you are is linked with the political orientation, then it should be like extremized, I expect. But also what you say, yes, there is a lot of inter-individual variability.
It would be interesting to check.
Now I
jump in. I checked the supplementary material, and study 1 was collected from 16 to 19, so just before.
Okay, before. So I guess study 2, it's within the pandemic.
Yeah, it would be nice to do a replication to see if things are changed or not now. Yeah,
it could be a good idea for the authors.
Yes,
everything has changed now.
No, because it was just before the pandemic, so it would be perfect to repeat it now.
Well, it's split by country, so the data was collected in different countries at different times slightly. So some countries are 16, some are 17, some are 18, some are 19, from what I briefly saw in the supplementary materials. So they're not all just before.
In fact, in the analysis, they went back to see which party was at the government back at the time.
Leah, is that your question answered?
Yes, thank you.
And we had a question as well.
Yes, I have a question. I was wondering, how did they measure the political orientation? Do you think the way they measure it, they took into account the political system of the different countries? So luckily, they took only democratic countries, because I'm pretty sure that will not work on dictatorial systems. But did they, took into account the political system and the way the parties are represented in the society in the different countries?
I know that in some analyses they controlled for the govern, like the political party at the government back at the time, as I was saying before. But what you mean with the system of the...
I mean, left and right is kind of subjective in a way, so I don't know what the...
Yes. No, definitely. This is why they actually stayed at the beginning. So this is why they collected two types of political orientation assessments, let's say. One type was a single item, so straightforward response, left or right. But then they did the same reasoning that you're saying now. So for a country, a left oriented left political orientation could mean something, and for another country could mean like more center. And that's why they then assess also a Likert scale, taking into account all the different shades of the spectrum. And in this way, they say they balanced out the limit of the first assessment.
Okay.
I got a couple of more questions for you if no one else. No. Okay. How old were the people they included in the study? Is that mentioned or is that buried?
There's a table.
Because the study that I mentioned earlier, for example, was students, classic.
No, there's a table of demographics. Let me see. Age. I don't see the mean on the, but maybe there's an in the supplementary. However, they also included age as a regressor, and there is not consistent effect of age on the conspiracy mentality. If that was your follow-up question.
It may have been my follow-up question, yes.
But there is the effect of education, interestingly. And yes, as I was saying before, preferred party currently at the government. So definitely there is a...
And then the other question, we kind of touched on it in the chat a little bit here, is not everyone dedicates him or herself to following one party in every election, but some change who they vote for based on the program, the current situation, whatever. So is that in any way taken into account if you really have your party you follow and you go wherever that party takes you, or if you make your choices with the election?
I think the answer to this question is on how the second political orientation assessment is built. I didn't look at the question or at the items of the Likert scale, but I'm pretty sure it's not strictly party related. So it's more as a general ideas of the view of the world.
Great. Okay, thanks for sharing the age table, yeah? So average age is around 40. Roughly. Great. It'd be interesting to combine the two studies we talked about and actually look at the brain markers for conspiracy mentality, which I'm sure someone out there is doing. But then also, which comes first? It's chicken and the egg.
Yeah. It's an ethical, like, more question.
Yeah, now we're diving into ethics, philosophy, free will.
I'm reading the chat now. Does free will exist?
We don't have time to answer that question today.
Well, one can do a developmental, like an developmental anatomical study, and see whether it was born first the chicken or the egg. And kids, teenage adults.
Yeah, since we were like talking, I was thinking that it could also be interesting to correlate the conspiracy mentality with other maybe questionnaires about depression or maybe borderline person. I don't know if there are some traits of personalities that are more linked to these ideas or not.
That'd be interesting. I'm sure there are some studies on that. I don't recall, but that'd be interesting. But I'm sure there are.
It's also not an easy subject to publish on, especially these days, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Oh, also a hard choice for Neuroccino, I have to admit. Well done.
I know. I mean, the debate is so heated in these days that I was like, whoa, I like this paper.
Yep. Yeah. Well, this is all we have time for, unless there's a burning question still. Nope. Okay. Well, thanks for presenting that paper, Valentina. Thank you all for being here on this Monday morning. As I said, this Friday, 4 p.m. Paris time, we have our first CNS talk for this new season. So do join us for that one. And other than that, I wish you an exciting week in science and see you Friday or Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.